Back in 1930, most Chinese decided to come to Nicaragua and settle in the Atlantic. My great-grandfather and 5 others came to Nicaragua. They opened an import and export business, and they call it Wing Sand in Bluefields, Nicaragua, which is where I was born.
Asian Latinos? Chino Latinos? When people hear those terms, they typically have quizzical looks on their faces. How can you be Asian and Latino? But the fact remains that millions of Asians are Latinos, and Latinos are Asians. Asian immigration to Latin America began centuries ago, starting as early as the 16th century with the Filipinos. To this day, Asians continue to immigrate to Latin America. There are currently more than 4 million Asian Latinos, nearly 1% of Latin America's population. Chinese and Japanese are the largest group, but other Asian groups also call Latin America their home. The Asian immigrants were initially laborers, but many rose to the top of government and businesses throughout Latin and South America.
When I was young, I remember my parents having a restaurant business. I learned how to become a cashier for my parents. I learned how to do some cooking, dishwashing, and all sorts of things that comes to owning a restaurant. In addition to helping out my parents at their restaurant, they also have sent me out to help out in a business, in a retail store. So I learned how to negotiate. I learned how to do some purchasing of some merchandise. But most of all, I think that what I learned at the early age is know how to save and know how to make profit.
This story could end there, but for some AREAA members, their stories are intertwined with that rich history. Their roots begin in Asia and end in the United States, but a long pit stop in Latin America adds a colorful vibrancy to their amazing journey.
In the late 1970s, the Nicaraguan Revolution took place. As you remember, the shootings, the bombing, lots of violence. One day, my dad came and told me that we had to leave Nicaragua. But literally, that same evening that we were gonna leave, my mom decided that she was gonna stay behind with my 4 siblings. So the reason why my older brother, who was 18 at that time, and I had to leave was because they were concerned that we were gonna be taken away so that we can help the cause and that they would never see us again. So somehow they had to make the tough decisions for us to come to the United States. It took us a long time to come here, a lot of challenges, a lot of complications, but we made it. We made it. And one thing that I do remember very vividly was when I was looking out the window of the plane that was descending and touching the ground of the United States. I had all these feelings in me, confusion, coming into a country that I only knew a little bit of English, not having my family here, where am I going to be? I went to George Washington High School, and I was shocked. Shocked because I saw a group of Chinese, a group of Hispanic, a group of Korean, Japanese, all different nationalities. And I felt that I didn't belong to any culture, to any ethnicity. I finished high school, went into City College, and went to San Francisco State. I had to choose a career that I knew that I was gonna have a job. So I chose accounting, graduated in business administration with concentration in accounting. After working for a bank for 5 years, then another 4 years for a mortgage company, I decided to open my own business. Today, my younger brother Francisco helps me out with the lending side, and then I concentrate on the real estate side. It started many years ago when John Lee asked me to come to one of the board meetings that AREAA had at that time, and that's the Chinese Real Estate Association of America. I became the treasurer. From the treasurer, then just moved up the ladder to the point when one day, Mr. Andrew Lee, who I know is here today, picked up the phone call and asked me to start a new chapter for AREAA in San Francisco Peninsula. I said, how can I do that? I'm not ready for it. So I went ahead, just took it and ran with it. San Francisco Peninsula chapter has come a long way after 3.5 years. I am very proud of the members, of all the things that we have accomplished.
The path to the United States is not always in a direct and clean line. Sometimes there are violent detours, but there are also sweetness of families reconnected and unimagined success in life and business. Today we celebrate all those who journeyed bravely to this land, to begin again in this great land.
I believe in AREAA and what we can do, so I invite you to join us.